The stakes were high for me to go because I was already working, and although I had gotten my first degree in development, they didn't want me to follow that path and sort of be far from them, and work in a field that they really didn't understand anything about. I'm Monica Goel, and I was a staff member for Indicorps in the 08-09 fellowship. One of the most powerful lessons in my Indicorps journey was learning to be unreasonable with myself. I actually first learned this lesson early on in my journey when I was actually deciding to join the program. I had contemplated joining Indicorps for 4 to 5 years, a long time, and every year I hesitated when I thought about applying. India had been painted to me as a place that was dangerous for a girl to travel and live on her own, where I could get sick easily, where the heat was unbearable. I think the idea of going to India was really unconventional, and while I knew it could be life-changing, I was really risk-averse, and I also knew that my family and friends wouldn't support it. So year on year, I took the safe path and I didn't apply. But something changed in the summer of 2008. I sort of had this sort of growing sense that if I didn't go now, it would never happen. So I started exploring, general opportunities to work in India, and unexpectedly, I was put in touch with the Indicorps executive director. I stopped considering going to Indicorps, but I thought this, I wanted to have the conversation, and she actually put forth a pretty interesting opportunity to join the staff of Indicorps and to help run the fellowship program based in Ahmedabad. So this was, sort of an intriguing opportunity for a variety of reasons, and I wanted to consider it, but she told me that, the orientation program was starting in a month, and so I had to decide in 2 weeks whether to join. So while the risk-averse part of me, the safe side of me said, absolutely not, this is crazy, I had a feeling that this could be a life-changing experience. So I approached my parents the next day, and they, as expected, vehemently opposed it and thought I was crazy to leave my job as a management consultant, to live in India in a city where we knew nobody, be unpaid for a year. They didn't understand my reasoning and what I would gain from this, and it was hard for me to articulate it myself. India was sort of portrayed to me as a unsafe place. So I think that the idea of me going alone for the first time in my life was really scary for my parents, and also actually for my family in India, who didn't understand why I was coming to do service. I think in my family overall, they believe in sort of just supporting each other and strong education and profession, but there isn't a strong service culture in my family. They don't have those same type of values, so it was difficult for me to sort of articulate why this was important to me. I think we had a very different vision of where my life was going. I was working, they wanted me to take the traditional path, find somebody, get married, and I think they felt that by taking such a different path and going somewhere, I would sort of go astray. I completely understand why they were scared for me to go, and I probably would feel the same way about my child. I think, to be honest, I was really scared myself. It seemed pretty extreme to me. I knew that a lot of the fellows lived in really rural areas. As a staff member, I'd be living in a city, but I would still sort of have to live in these simple living values. I wasn't also sure how the experience would sort of play into my future professional path, but I thought, I'll be working for the next 30 years of my life. This is the time to sort of really live life and do something unconventional. I had to make the decision quickly, and I had support from no one. My friends thought it was extreme and didn't sort of understand the value of me going to this program for a year. So against everyone's sort of opinions and thoughts, I decided to go. And I approached my parents again and told them my decision, and they were extremely upset with me. They didn't talk to me for a week. Lots of crying ensued. And I think it was the most difficult for me because it was the first time in my life that they truly opposed a decision I was making, and it was a big one. So what followed was one of the most powerful experiences in my life, and I'm so grateful that I followed my heart over my head and made the decision to go. I think that overall, this experience taught me that it's really important sometimes to be unreasonable, to follow your heart, and to not listen to sort of what sort of society says is the conventional path to take. And overall, that you can really only have extraordinary life experiences when you're unreasonable with yourself.